Mr. Edit Man presents. I wore the same clothes for 56 days before someone finally said something. What amateur psychology experiments have you done? As an Aussie, I say how ya going a lot. I worked at a petrol station, and it quickly became my greeting to customers. Every person who walked in. How ya going, mate? How ya going, mate? To every person. I got bored one day, and because Aussies are the laziest speakers on earth, the Melbourne cricket ground is shortened to the MCG, and even then we shorten that to the G, because those extra 2 letters require too much effort to say. I decided to test the extent of this laziness. Every time someone would come in, I'd shorten how ya going just a little bit, starting with how ya going, mate, then how ya ga, mate. Then eventually it got to the point where all I was saying was a YG, may. I would pronounce each letter phonetically, so it sounded like a yagame. Every single person understood me without the slightest difficulty. I gave a 30-question science test that was multiple choice. I put a period at the end of each of the correct answers. No one noticed. Edit. After I gave the class the test back, I asked if anyone noticed, and I assured them that I was not going to do it again. No one said that they noticed. I invented the mystery soda. I worked at a grocery store where we had a vending machine for canned sodas in the break room. There were maybe 8 pre-made signs for different popular name brand soft drinks, but the machine could hold 10 different sodas. I was a manager, so the courtesy clerk, bagger, tasked with filling the machine asked me what to put in the 2 remaining slots. I had him make 2 signs. Mystery soda #1 and mystery soda #2. The mystery sodas tended to be things like Fanta, Barks, Squirt, Fresca, etc. They were always the most popular drinks by far and the first slots in the machine to go empty. I'm not sure if that was an exercise in psychology or marketing, but the results were interesting. That's a damn good idea, and marketing is rooted in psychology, so you're good. I felt at the time that I should have notified the Harvard economics department or something, because it was remarkable how fast those things would sell. People like a little excitement and mystery in their lives. Sometimes when I'm talking to someone who is mirroring my body language, I'll start standing or sitting in awkward positions just to see if they do it too. When it works, it's kind of funny. My boss mirrors my body language and I have no idea why. I'm a sort of awkward communicator. Verbally, at least. Has an excellent talker and gets paid to speak at universities all the time. Has not at all a dick, but is clearly my superior in our conversations. Yet I find him unconsciously mirroring some of the stupid, sometimes anxiety-driven things I do while talking. It's bizarre. In high school, my friend created a person. We would bring his name up in casual conversations, plan parties at his house, started a rivalry between him and another kid. Enough of us were in on it that it spread like crazy. We even had a few teachers mention his name. We kept everything vague enough no one knew too much, but they knew his name and believed he was real. A few years ago, one of the guys made him a Facebook. He has lots of friends. I once went a week without answering anyone's questions, basically playing the psychologist and turning it around to a question for the asker. My wife finally caught on after 5 days, but enjoyed the hell out of getting to essentially give me the opportunity and then make every decision the way she wanted to. Co-workers never seemed to pick up on it, and it was not too bad. Made 2 dating profiles. My polar opposite received non-stop emails, while I got one throughout the whole experiment. Edit. I have long since deleted both accounts. My alter ego was more or less a good old boy with some bloke from Google Images for the profile pic. I coached at a sports camp the summer I graduated college. One day, I wore a collared polo shirt inside out, and, for a reason I still do not quite know, decided to wear an inside out polo shirt every day for the rest of the summer. By the end of the camp, every single kid, fairly sophisticated private school boys, 16, 18 years old, were all wearing their shirts inside out. And would actually go out of their way to gently correct anyone who mistakenly wore their shirt right side in. It was then that I learned that teenage boys are weird. One day I decided not to talk to anyone the entire day in school. Normally I'm talkative as hell and pretty social with people. When people would talk to me, I would laugh and respond physically and acknowledge their presence, but not say a word. It took people until almost the end of the day to notice, and there were several people that claimed I had talked to them / had conversations with them during the day. I noticed that if you simply look another person in the eyes and make gestures, they will think of it as participation in the conversation. Also, I noticed that I had so much more time to think and prevent myself from saying stupid malarkey to people that pissed them off. It was pretty interesting to see how adults would react to a Santa situation. When I was about 10, I bought everyone in my family 2 presents for Christmas. I also bought separate wrapping paper and practiced wrapping perfectly. After my father went to bed on Christmas Eve, I went downstairs and put the second set of presents under the tree. They were labeled from SC, which was printed so handwriting could not be analyzed. I was curious as to whether an adult could actually believe it, as I knew they would not really suspect me or my brother. After the initial shock, it was deduced that our neighbors had let themselves in at night and planted them there. The neighbors' initials were S and C. I did that for my mom one year when I was loaded. New job and college housing. In hindsight, I probably should have saved some of that money. At the time, we were doing present exchanging on Christmas Eve. So she had already received a nice gift from me and was not expecting anything else. Went out and bought a ton of gifts for her. Wrapped them in separate wrapping paper. Hid them until she went to bed and then put them under the tree. Even got her stocking from when she was a little girl and filled it with stuff. Christmas morning, she woke up first to walk our dog. I did not see her reaction. But when I woke up, she was sitting on the couch, looking at the tree with our dog next to her. I said Merry Christmas and she said, "Can we open presents yet?" Best Christmas ever. I like to wear makeup to work some days and no makeup on other days and see how people treat me. It's not a very good experiment because there is no control and there are a lot of outside factors that could affect people's behavior. But I think I'm onto something. At one point, I had 30 baby crocodiles in my living room, separated into 3 kiddie swimming pools from Walmart. I ran a rescue in the pet trade. These things happen. I ran out of their food, goldfish, and only had cold cuts around meat-wise until the morning. I threw a piece of bologna into one pool, and all of the crocs just sat there, half submerged, staring at me. Nobody went for it. I threw a piece into the second pool. Again, nobody was amused with my sandwich meat. Then I got to the third pool, where one particular croc had become my friend. He was missing both of his front hands when I got the 30. So I had taken to personally feeding him and making sure he did not have to compete with the others. When I threw in the scrap of bologna, only Stumps went for it. But as soon as he took a bite, the other 9 immediately clicked in and swam in for a snack. I then took one croc from pool 3 and dropped him into the other 2 pools. And each time he taught the others to eat bologna by going for the pieces casually lying around. Basically taught 3 different communities of crocodile about a new food source by transferring one individual to spread the cultural change. Edit. Just so people are aware, crocodiles need a lot of space, more than just kiddie pools, though these were just wee little guys. So they had plenty of room. They were shipped out within 48 hours. Just had to confirm they were healthy and eating before passing them on. I once spent 2 months on this one. Whenever I would walk around in public, I would refuse to step aside or move over for others walking from the other direction. For example, walking down a grocery aisle on the right hand side. Approaching from the other direction was a group of 3 people walking side by side. I would hold my ground instead of moving further over to the right, forcing one of them to move over. I would not do this to older people, just 50s or younger. I found that teenage to mid-20s girls were the worst ones about not moving over, and they would plow right into me then ditch that I should have moved over. I'm 40 by the way. I was surprised that teen to 20 something guys tended to move over, but 30s to 40s men did not. I would only do it when I approached groups of 2 or more walking side by side, and I never took up more than the right half of any aisle. It was really interesting. A fun trick for walking through crowds is to just look past people and not at them, not making eye contact. If you're walking towards a line of 3 people looking forward between their head/shoulders, they will move and let you through. Seriously, try it. I do it all the time walking from class to class on campus, and I feel like near on the streets of New York. I sing or hum annoying songs around people during different times of the day. My goal is to have them singing or humming the song by the end of the day. I have the best results when I sing. I do not want to wait for our lives to be over . It's awesome cause no one knows the whole song, so they only sing that one piece. Edit. I forgot to mention that I sing as though I'm singing to myself. Loud enough for them to hear, but not loud enough as though to make think I do not want them to hear me singing. I used to work at Starbucks, and we were supposed to greet people starting with, "Welcome to Starbucks. When I was in the drive-thru, I replaced Starbucks with Stardust and Star Wars to see how long it took for someone to notice. Sometimes I would even say Wendy's. Then I started replacing my name with things like Coolio and Turd Ferguson. The first person to say something got their order free. I usually only got 1 or 2 responses per 8-hour shift. People care so little about anything you say to them and just want their coffee. So the only people who ever caught on were the regulars who listened carefully to hear who they were talking to. Everyone else ignored you completely and just waited for you to stop talking so they could spit out their order. When you add a question at the end, they always assume that you're trying to get them to buy something extra. Would you like to try our new X drink today? So lots of people missed out when I actually said, would you like to try a free drink today? When I worked at Staples selling printers and advising people on technology and malarkey, I used to experiment with wearing glasses or contacts. When I was wearing glasses, people were not as nice to me, would frequently think I was making stuff up, and were less likely to buy the service plans I was supposed to be selling. Initially I thought it was because it was harder to see my eyes and people were less trusting because of that. But now I'm pretty sure it's just that I'm better looking in contacts and people innately trust and like dealing with more attractive people. My experiment was called the traveling mole. I basically drew a bigger mole in a different area on my face every day. The mole started out really tiny and on one part of my face. Every morning, I would make the mole a little bit bigger and moved it slightly from where it was the previous day. I did this for 3 months. No one had the balls to comment on it, or no one cared. I decided to change my birthday once a month on Facebook to another day, just to see how many people wish you happy birthday simply because Facebook tells you to. It took almost 7 months before somebody realized what I was doing and would get 30+ well wishes per birthday. If you are reading this, you made it until the end of the video. Click the thumbs up button since you made it until the end. On screen there should be some more videos similar to this. So either go do something else or watch another video. That's it. There is no more here. What are you waiting for, a secret message or something? Okay. This is not a secret, but subscribe for more edit videos like this.